Hello out there, and today we are taking a look at another new release for 2021 from CRKT, and this one is called the Scribe, and it is a very small little fixed blade designed by TJ Schwartz, who also did the Caligo, and he did the Overland and a number of things for CRKT over the past few years. And this is one that, first of all, I have to thank my buddy Jay for sending my way. I really appreciate it. He picked up a couple of these and wanted me to check it out, and I said yes because I love TJ Schwartz as a designer. But to be really honest with you guys, this one didn't seem like it was going to be anything all that special to me. You know, it looked sort of cool and a sort of almost novelty-ish when it comes to, you know, what it just looked like in the package like this. All right, you know, it's a little fixed blade. Like, what's it really going to be for? And, you know, I was interested in checking it out in person, though, and just sort of getting an understanding of what it was and if it was more than just what it appeared to be. And this thing is actually a lot more versatile and has a lot more going for it, in my opinion, than I originally thought. You know, so I'm super thrilled to be able to have gotten it in hand and see that for myself. So today we are going to go through the details of the knife, absolutely, and then we will get into some of the ideas of like who it would be for and how it could be used and how you could incorporate it into your EDC and why I really didn't think I'd be able to do that. So let's get started with some size comparisons first and foremost. The first thing that you have to understand is that this thing is very small. All right, as far as length goes, it's pretty small. The cutting edge is extremely tiny. We'll leave the cap off of it for now. But here is the CRKT Squid. So you can see you've got a blade that is, you know, right around an inch, maybe a little bit longer than that on the Scribe. So, you know, it is a small duty kind of thing. So there's the Squid. We'll do a couple other size comparisons. Here's the Kershaw Leek. As you can see, just like dwarfing it. And then here is a Sharpie, which might really bring it into an understanding. Here it is with the cap on with the Sharpie. So we have that. And then the best comparison across the board is just a box cutter. Just a basic box cutter. It's almost the exact same length. The only, and perspective here is off, guys, you know, but the only difference in length is like basically where this lanyard hole starts is the extra length that you get from a closed box cutter. By the way, guys, box cutter, classic McQueen. He's got these on sale. I don't know if you know who he is. The coolest guy on Instagram, best meme lord of all time. So check him out. I had to support his page and what he does by picking up one of these things. He's got a whole series of them with different villains on them. So yeah, cool stuff. But anyway, about the same size. And when you look at the weight, it's pretty comparable as well. So we'll start with this box cutter, 0.81 ounces. All right. Then 1 ounce even on the Scribe, which is pretty darn good. I mean, it's super light. It does have a little bit of a heft to it. Like it doesn't feel flimsy though. And the reason for that, and I actually double checked this with TJ Schwartz himself, who responded to my question. I asked, is this full tang? Because this could have very easily just been a piece of plastic with, you know, a metal lanyard hole inserted here and then the blade inserted here and just this like empty space, or just plastic filled in. And no, it is full tang across the board. So you've got 1 ounce total weight with a full tang blade. Very cool there. So yeah, I definitely appreciated that level of quality and looking into it that much, even though this is a light duty kind of thing, that you do have a full tang blade. So one other aspect of it that is pretty neat is that as far as the cap goes, you can put it on the back and then have a little bit more ergonomic room for anything that you're doing, or realistically just have a lesser chance of losing it. And so then you get your whole hand on the thing, and it's actually pretty darn comfortable. All right, but let's get back to the blade and get into some more details about it real quickly. The steel that we're working with here is, I call it whatever steel. You know, on something like this, the steel is not the selling point. You're not going to get something and have it be super expensive in terms of like the quality. This is 5CR15. How much better is that than 3 CR13 or 4 CR14, which I've had a couple knives on. I have no clue. Is it better or worse than 8 CR13? Again, I have no clue. It shouldn't matter for what this knife is used for and what you need it for. It just should not be an issue whatsoever. Again, like putting an expensive steel on this just wouldn't make sense. And it would make it, you know, less appealing as this is in the teens in terms of price. I think like 17, 18 bucks. So that's, yeah, that would totally change the game if it were a better steel. As it is though, that full tang sort of carries a lot of weight. The stonewash on this is very nice. You know, it's just a very nice looking stonewash. It's a sort of aggressive stonewash, but then it has a very nice polish to it as well. So as far as appeal visually, it's definitely got that. Let's take a look, put the cap back on for a second. The retention of the cap is pretty good. So if you're looking at stuff like that, very easy to pop off one-handed, but it's not anything that's going to just fall off. The other thing about the cap is it's not reversible. So you have to get it on in just that one way. So just be aware of that. As we take a look at the rest of the outside, we have a pretty nice looking piece of plastic here. It's a very nice plastic scale, and it's a plastic polymer. I mean, they have just yet another great scientific name to explain what exactly it is, but it has almost like a carbon fiber kind of look to it. And when I first saw a picture of this, I thought, oh, is that like a CF laminate kind of casing? Because that would be pretty interesting. And it isn't. It's just plastic made to look like that, but that design sort of does exude a certain level of class that this could sort of carry in terms of a gents piece. And yeah, it looks better, I think, than just some basic Kydex sheath or something like that. So yeah, I like it. It keeps the weight pretty far down, which is awesome as well. Not particularly grippy, but not as slick as it could be. A little bit of traction here. But again, I mean, functionally and realistically, you're not going to need anything to really grab your thumb. If you need something with that high of traction, then this is probably not the right tool for what you're doing. All right, as we flip it over, you can see we do have a pocket clip on here. The pocket clip is functional, looks good. You can remove it though, and then you have like a pretty thin and streamlined overall piece. So let's just take a look at that standing up and try to get this focused. Sorry if the lighting in this video is a little bit weird, but my camera just was having trouble focusing on the plastic scale just to begin with. But you can see just how thin, bringing back the leak, how thin overall the darn thing is. And then when you remove the pocket clip, you save a little bit of weight and it just becomes even slimmer for like a jacket pocket or something like that. So yeah, let's just cut and I'll show you the Scribe without the pocket clip on, and we will take a look at that. All right, guys, so this is another way that you could carry the Scribe. You could take the pocket clip off with the 2 screws. It's pretty darn thin and slim in that setup, and it cuts a little bit of the weight. So bringing it down to 0.89 ounces, which is pretty ridiculous. I'm going to bring back this box cutter, and you can see it's less than 1/10 of an ounce heavier than a box cutter, and this is full tang. So, I mean, pretty cool. Pretty cool in terms of the weight, and so it does create a little bit of versatility that for a lot of these like specialty kind of EDC tools you don't always get. So yeah, it's going to be a little bit easier to incorporate into your carry or into some kind of kit or system that you might have. Yeah, so having the pocket clip off, you do save that extra bit of weight, which is pretty neat if you're focused on stuff like that. But otherwise, the last thing to really talk about here is this lanyard hole. It's functional. It could be used for a number of other things. It could be used in order to incorporate this as a neck knife as we start to transition into, you know, how to incorporate this into your EDC. The one thing that I would warn you about in regards to using this as a neck knife is that most neck knives have the lanyard hole or the loop that you would, you know, put a string through or 550 cord or something through on the opposite side, unlike the sheath side, so that you can pull the knife away from your body, and then you still have like the sheath around your neck. Obviously, with this setup, that's not the case. You could still carry this knife around your neck, absolutely, but again, if you go to use it, you're going to have to take it off of your neck. But still, having this for lanyards or being able to attach it to other pieces of equipment, anything like that, definitely a good thing. And again, that full tang aspect is pretty darn neat. All right, so the question, and my big question when I first saw this knife is like, this is sort of a specialty kind of item. So how would I really use this in my EDC? Like, how would I incorporate this? Does it make sense for me to get stuff like this? And that's why, every time CRKT or Kershaw or any kind of company comes out with a new kind of EDC tool, even if it's inexpensive, I think, all right, but I don't need anything like that at this point. Like I have the stuff that I carry every day. And I know there's some people who have different pry bars that they change out regularly, and there's some people who have different multi-tools and stuff, and so they change out what's in their pocket or what's in their like daily kit. I don't really do that. So for me, having like a novelty item or just like an extra item, it doesn't always make sense, and it doesn't seem to like fit into what I would be looking for in a carry. If you are one of those people who has a dozen different things and you like to carry different pry bars and stuff like that, this already is possibly a very appealing thing for you. For me, generally when these kinds of things come out, I'm like, all right, that's a good idea, but it sort of is a niche niche kind of thing where it's only going to appeal to a specialized group of people. The thing that I can say about this, though, the Scribe, which is so cool, is that just because of how light it is and how it's so pocket-friendly with this clip or the clip removed, and it's super lightweight, it's got that streamlined thinness to it, this could be used in 1,000 different ways. And it wouldn't be an extra burden for someone who wanted to carry something. Like this is something that sub $20, you pick one of these up, and then if you have a suit jacket, you just put it in that jacket. You could just leave it in there. And hey, every time you put your jacket on, you've got an extra knife in your third pocket or whatever it is, and put it in your back pocket. And that's actually how I've been carrying it today, is just in my back pocket, next to my handkerchief, which goes in my back pocket. So nothing, like no inconvenience, no extra clutter. It's so easy to have on you, and it's just a good extra tool. And so for me, it's something that if I'm carrying like a slip joint, just as a backup, I could take that out for the day and put this in. Put it in a kit, put it in 1,000 different things, have it in the car, throw it in the bottom of your wife's purse and don't even tell her that it's there kind of crap. I mean, this thing, it is limitless in terms of the way that you could use it, and just the fact that it is so darn light and attractive and versatile just makes it a smart thing to have at the sub $20 price point. So yeah, I think this is, believe it or not, as someone who's not a big fixed blade fan, like I sort of think that this is a home run, just because I think that anyone who gets one of these will eventually come across a situation where they're like, shit, I didn't even realize I had this, and I'm so glad that I do. It's one of those things, and it'll end up working out for you. So CRKT, while I wasn't all that impressed with all the stuff that they rolled out, there were a couple new knives that I was interested in for sure. This is one of those under the radar sort of things that that could be one of those models that people give feedback on years from now that says, yeah, I'm just so glad I picked this up. It's one of my favorite things that I have in my EDC rotation. Believe it or not, that's what I think it is. So pretty darn cool. Thank you again to Jay for sending this my way and giving me the opportunity to check it out. Definitely am happy about that. Any questions, comments, complaints, suggestions, let me know down below. Appreciate you watching, guys. Take care and have a good one.